started. Cool. All right. What goes here? At the bottom of the triangle? Leads. Good job. What goes here?
Leverage.
Listings.
Thank you. Okay, Clarissa. You get an A for effort.
Leverage.
Leverage.
And today we are going to talk about listings. And if I asked you, what's your monthly number? In other words, what's your goal? What's your objective? What's your need? What's your have to? How many homes are you listing every month? And one of the things that I hear at Bold is we're sharing goals or we're sharing results at the beginning of Bold, right? Yes or yes. And each table will announce their numbers. The Road Warriors are proud to announce that we took 2 listings, 3 buyers, 2 contracts, right? And that means you have a goal, which is cool. You have a vision for how many listings you are going to take every month, correct?
Yes.
You have a belief that you can take 2 listings every month, or 3 listings, or 4 listings, or 10 listings. Now, I want you to answer the question for me. Raise your hand when I get to a number that causes you to go, I'm not so sure that my confidence level is a 10. So the question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being I have 0 confidence, 0. It would be better if I sent my dog on the listing appointment. And 10 being I have mastered my listing presentation at the highest rate possible. I get every listing I want. I am 100% confident that when I go on the appointment, the listing is mine. You're a 10. Now, raise your hand when I get to a number that causes you to go, I'm not sure. Maybe my confidence level is a 7. It's not a 10. Maybe it's a 5. I've got a 50-50 chance. Maybe it's a 1. It would be better if I sent my dog. I am taking, now I'm phrasing this in an affirmation form, not goal form. In other words, I'm not saying it is my goal to take 1 listing a month. I am taking 1 listing a month. No hands went up. Cool.
No.
Wow, we've got hands.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
I want your hand to go up when you get to a point where you're like, I'm not sure if I'm confident I can do that.
Not sure.
I'm not sure. And it could be 1. That's fine. By the way, it was 1 for me. At one point in my real estate career, it was 1. I promise you it was. And then I had an aha. And I'm going to share that aha with you in just a few moments. But I just want to kind of get a feel for where the room is before we have the conversation. I am taking 2 listings a month. I am taking 3 listings a month. I am taking 4 listings a month. Yeah. And I'm not going to go any higher than that. Your number may be 20. That's awesome. By the way, I was also at that point. There was a point where my hand went up with, I'm taking 1 listing a month. In other words, I don't see myself. I don't have the confidence to do it. Right. And then there was a point where my goal was to take 20 listings a month. And I had to have a breakthrough, eat a pea, in order to be able to have the confidence that I could take 20 listings a month, because that's the number that it took in order for the Dietz team to hit their goals. Now, where do you see yourself? Remember, this is just a carryover from the conversation we've had the last couple of days. Everything does not begin with action. You set goals and you create an action plan in order to achieve those goals. And then you focus on the activities, not the results, in order to achieve those goals. And you show up every day and you do the activities that lead to results. However, it doesn't begin there. It begins with a thought. It begins with how you see yourself. Thoughts lead to feelings. Feelings lead to actions. And if you have a thought that is a limiting belief, the feeling is going to be a lack of confidence. I'm afraid. I'm afraid to pick up the phone and make calls because somebody might say yes. Oh my gosh, what do I do then? I've got to go on an appointment. What do I do? So my thought led to fear, which action is no action. Is this making sense? Yeah. Okay, so here's where I want to do. I want to go to page, oh, this is your playbook. You're building a millionaire real estate business. We are all on a path to gross $1 million and then net $1 million and then receive $1 million and then give away $1 million a year because I walk like, talk like, look like, and have the checkbook of a millionaire real estate agent. Write it down. It's an affirmation. You should start every day with that. So I want to go to page 101 of your playbook. And here's what Gary Keller has to say about listings. While leads are vital to your sales business. By the way, you are in the business of sales. I know you've heard from different people that you're not. So I'm going to be that person who stands in front of the room and says, don't listen. You are. And there's nothing wrong with that. You are in the business of sales, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Be proud of it. Some of the best paid professionals in the world are salespeople. While leads are vital to your sales business, seller listings are critical to build it to its highest level with the lowest cost and highest net. Real estate listings are critical to building your real estate business to the highest level at the lowest cost and highest net. Now, page 228. Gary goes on to say, get to the page, John. The economic model of the millionaire real estate agent shows that how to work backward from your desired net income to your GCI goals. From there, it shows you the number of listings you will need to close and even how many appointments you'll need to make to reach your goals. All right, let's say that your goal for the next 12 months is to net $100,000. Your cost of sales, if you're part of the Coral Springs Market Center, is $16,000. So in order to net $100,000, I need to gross $116,000. Now, if my average commission is $10,000, that means I'm going to close 16 sales. If my business is 50-50, 50% seller side, 50% buyer side, I'm going to close 8 sellers. Now, if 80% of the listings I take are going to close, and today in today's market, it should really be closer to 100%, right? Yeah. But for the purpose of this exercise, I would use 80% as my number. And I would say in order for me to close 8 seller listings, I'm going to take 10. Now, if my conversion ratio from an appointment to a listing is 50%, I'm going to go on 20 appointments, right? Now, that means that I'm going on 1.6 appointments per month, correct? Now, here's the question. What one thing, and I'm going to be quiet and let you give me some answers here. And if you're on Zoom, raise your digital hand, please, and I'll call on you. What one thing would cause your confidence level to go from a 5 to a 10, or from a 1 to a 5 when it comes to taking seller listings? What one thing could you do that would cause your confidence level, how you see yourself when you look in the mirror. How can we go from being a 5 to being a 10? In other words, I've got this. Every time I go to the plate, I hit it out of the park. If the Marlins called me and said, John, we've got a spot on the baseball team, would you like to play? And my answer is heck no. No, I don't. Because if I go to that plate, I'm going to be so afraid of that ball coming at me 100 miles an hour. I'm just going to hit the ground. My confidence level is a 0. I would rather send my dog to the plate. He's got a better chance of getting a hit. Besides, Casper is only a foot tall, so it'd be hard to throw a strike. And one person laughed. And where's your confidence level? If someone says, I'm thinking of selling my home, what can you do to get it sold? Is your first thought, I've got this? Or is your first thought fear? Now, if it's fear or anything less of 100%, I've got this, what's the one thing you can do to move from I'm not sure to I've got this? Clarissa. Practice your listing presentation. Okay. What else? Script and role play. Cool. Write it down, write it down, write it down. Everybody should be writing these things down. So far, both great answers. If you're waiting for me to say that's a bad answer, I'm not going to. Diane.
Understanding the numbers.
Understand the numbers. Tell me what that means.
Understanding how to do the CMAs, the supply and demand, and learning the market of where that listing is at.
Okay. So be a local economist of choice,
Yes.
master the market.
Yes.
Cool. I agree. What else?
John,
Digital hand, Michael Topo, talk to me.
I got like 2 or 3 thoughts, just
Yep.
kind of piggybacking on what Diane said. Knowing the numbers, but knowing your numbers, right? That's the key, guys, right? So if I want to net 200K, right? And I'm going to be, let's say I'm 100% listings base. I need 20 listings to close at $10,000 a listing. And 80% of my listings close. So I'll need 25 active listings for the year, which gets me to about 2 listings per month. And that's not even including the carryover business that we get from the buyers. So really that could turn from 20 closings to 30 or 35 or 40 closings, depending on the buyer pool. So that's one. And then obviously 2, lead generate and understand what's work.
Good job, Michael. I agree. Okay. Can I share with you? I don't see any other hands up in the chat section, so we're cool. Can I share with you what my aha was 20 years ago when I was you? Right? My aha was, in order for me to get where I want to go, in order for me to do what I want to do as a real estate agent, and my goal the first year was to make $200,000. Now, I'm not saying that to say anything, right? Pat Mancuso would say it's not bad or good, right or wrong, blah, blah, blah. And it's just a number. I had a job where I was working in corporate and my earnings were $200,000 a year and my lifestyle was based on a $200,000 a year income. And I lost that job. And real estate, by the way, I didn't lose it. I knew where it was. Let's be honest. I got fired. How's that? And real estate overnight became how I was going to support my family. And the number that I needed in order to provide for Colin and Lacey and my family was $200,000. It's just a number. And I'm working for a team on a 25-75 split. They get 75, I get 25. So you can do the math and figure out how many listings I needed to sell in order to net $200,000. Let's just say it's a lot. And my aha was, in order to take a lot of seller listings, my one thing is to master my listing presentation. Now, all of your answers were correct. And part of mastering your listing presentation is being a master of the market. Being able to sit down and have a conversation with someone at a high level about the market, how many homes are currently for sale, how many homes are selling every 30 days, how that translates to supply and demand, how supply and demand is going to affect the sale of their home, the difference between selling your home when there's 30 days of inventory and when there's 90 days of inventory, because there's a difference. The strategy that goes behind selling your home in a market where there's 30 days of inventory versus a market where there's 90 days of inventory. That's all part of mastering your listing presentation. The other part of mastering your listing presentation is being able to have a consultative, please write it down, a consultative conversation at a high level, meaning I'm not selling and telling, I'm asking great questions. Now, see, most real estate agents are going to show up and they're going to sell and tell. The conversation is going to sound something like, let me share with you why you should hire me. Let me share my resume with you. Let me show you how successful I am. Look at all of the marketing that I do. And they haven't asked one question, not one, from the seller, right? Now, I'm going to show up and I know that the seller has, please write this down. The seller has 3 questions that they're asking themselves about me and everybody else they meet with, Aaron. And those 3 questions are, can I trust you? Do you care about me? Do you know what you're doing? And do you know what you're doing is the least important of the 3. Can I trust you? And do you care about me? Are the most important 2 questions that you need to answer for that seller. And this goes for someone that you know, a friend, a family member, or someone that you don't know. Even if they're a friend, that goes out the window when you're selling their $700,000 home. They're still asking themselves, Hervé, can I trust you? Do you care about me? Or are you here just to get a listing so you can get a commission check? Now, the solution, I need to master my listing presentation at a high level, led to, how do I do that? Now, the answer for me way back in 2002 was attend Listing Your Way to Success. Now, at the time, it was a class that was being taught by 2 people that I know. One was Gary Ubaldini in Clearwater, Florida, and the other was Linda McKissick. Co-wrote by the 2 of them. So my one thing became to attend Listing Your Way to Success every time it was taught.
Incredible teachers, John.
Right? I'm literally, like Gary says in the beginning of your playbook, I am literally standing on the shoulders of giants. Guys, whenever somebody gives me a compliment, I'm a little bit embarrassed by it, right? And I'm being humble, which is good. But at the same time, I also realize, wait a second, guys, there's nothing special about anything that I do. All I'm doing is sharing what I've learned from Gary Baldini, Linda McKissick, Gary Keller, Diana Kokoska, Dick Dillingham, Tony DeCello. And those are just a few of the people that I have worked with one-on-one. And when you listen to that list, you would expect that I should know what I'm doing. So in attending your Listing Your Way to Success, every time it was being taught, as long as it was within driving distance from where I lived in Clearwater, Florida, which meant for me, if it's 4 hours, I'm going. 4 hours there, 4 hours back. If I can't afford to spend the night, no worries, I'm going. And there were months where I was attending it 2 or 3 times a month. And in the next 12 months, I probably was in that class 20 times. Now, I'm not the smartest person in the room, and I'm not slow. I didn't attend it 20 times because I didn't get it. I attended it 20 times because it was my job not to learn it, but to internalize it. You see, mediocrity is practicing learning. First of all, you got to learn it. Learning a new skill and practicing it until you get it right. Mastery is practicing until you can't get it wrong. Mediocrity is standing on the driving range with a driver in your hand, putting that ball on the tee and practicing until 1 out of 10 goes straight and 250 yards. Got it. Mastery is standing on that driving range and hitting thousands after thousands after thousands of balls until I hit 100, 99 of them are going straight and 250 yards. That's mastery. By the way, mastery pays. Please write that down. Why do I want to master something? Well, because it pays. Tony Hawk makes $1 million a year riding a skateboard, but he mastered it at a really high level. Mastery in the real estate business. How much does that pay? Well, Ben Kinney made $17 million last year. I think it pays pretty well. I don't think there's a lid. Gary Keller has said, and I agree with Gary Keller, there will be a day when a real estate agent within our organization makes more money than Keller Williams Realty International does. Could be you. Now, this is going to sound like an infomercial because I'm going to tell you I'm teaching this class in the Coral Springs Market Center tomorrow. And if I'm you, and my answer to what one thing can I do that would move me from a 1 to a 5 in how I see myself as a listing agent. And the answer is master my listing presentation, then I'm attending this class. I'm attending it every time it's taught. Every time until I've mastered it. Now, if the answer was, what do I need to do? What's the one thing that I could do to move from being a 5 to a 10? It's the same thing. I'm attending this class every single time it's being taught. Now, I know it's being taught 3 times in South Florida in the next 30 days. I don't know. But I do know it's being taught 3 times in South Florida. I'll tell you how you get the answer. Reach out to the Fort Lauderdale Market Center and reach out to the Aventura Market Center because it's being taught in both of those offices in the next 30 days.
But you're not teaching it.
No, I'm not. No, I'm teaching it one time in the next 30 days, and it's tomorrow, and it's in Coral Springs. Now, no, I'm not. This is live only. And if you've attended my 14-point listing presentation, that is the class. Now, it's that plus what Keller Williams University, the #1 training company in the world, has written in Win with Sellers. Master this at such a high level that you could show up at their home as a 10. I've got this. I'm stepping to the plate in faith. I don't care if he throws the ball 100 miles an hour. I'm going to knock it out of the park. I get a home run every time I go to the plate. Oh, there's this commercial. I love this. So there's these 2 little boys and they're walking down a path, and one little boy throws up an imaginary ball and he takes his imaginary bat and he swings the bat and he says home run. And then they walk a little bit further and he takes an imaginary ball, he takes an imaginary bat and he swings and he says home run. And then they walk a little bit further, he takes an imaginary ball, he takes an imaginary bat and swings and says home run. By the way, it's Smuckers if you want to look it up, grape jelly or something. And the one little boy looks at the other one and says, do you get a home run every time? Do you hit a home run every time? And his answer is yes, every time. Now, when you can say that you get every seller listing you want to get every month, then you're a 10. Now, by the way, don't get fooled into thinking, I'm talking to the seasoned agents who have been in the business for a while and they're succeeding at a level. And they're taking seller listings and they take every appointment listing they go on. And they might take 3, 4, 5, 7 listings a year and they're doing well. And they'll say, John, I don't need this. I'm getting every listing appointment I go on. And my response would be, how many appointments are come list me's with people you know? Now, if it's a come list me, nobody get offended. How many people want to call? See if anybody jumps. If it's a come list me with somebody you know, do you have to master your listing conversation to get that listing? No, you don't. You don't. And that's cool. And be grateful for those. But if you're going to go from 7 listings a year to 100 listings a year, you're going to have to meet with people you don't know. You're going to have to meet with people where you're competing for the listing. And in order to win that competition, you are going to have to master your listing conversation at a high level. Winging it won't do it when you don't know them. T-shirt. Winging it won't do it when you don't know them. I can wing it all day long if I'm talking to my friends. But if I don't know you, I better have skill. All right, talk to me. What'd you hear? 11-1, by the way, Natalia, to answer your question. 11-1 right here.
Thank you.
Teaching it on 11-17 in the Aventura office.
All right, 11-17 in Aventura with Lee Rosa.
What I heard, John, the most important aha I got out of the entire day so far is don't pick and choose which, don't pick and choose, I can't read my own writing, which events, don't pick and choose which trainings you go to because you don't know which one will change your life.
Spot on. Credit to Jim Rome. May he rest in peace. Clarissa, and if you're on Zoom, please raise your digital hand. I will call on you.
Go to the listing your way to success.
Go to listing your way to success. Hey, by the way, Gary Ubaldini does still teach that class. You'll just have to find his training calendar to go to that. And I teach it. It's just not called listing your way to success. It's called my 14-point listing presentation, but that's what it is. I just took his class and changed the name. Tara Carter.
What I heard from you is mastery. And I don't care how long you've been in the business or how much you take, there's always room for improvement. You're never a 10. And a selfish plug, I'm doing a live buyer consultation today, because we were talking about it. And I'm doing that today in the office from 1 to 3.
Love it, Tara. Love it. And absolutely, I shared that on Facebook, by the way. If you're on my Facebook page, you saw that. And I don't share stuff just to share it. So Tara, kudos to you. Ton of value in that class, right? Listen, guys, if I want to learn how to master the buyer conversation, I'm attending Tara's class. There's a reason I don't teach that class, because that is in my list of things that I suck at. Remember, there's a lot of things on that list. Now, what am I good at? I'm good at taking seller listings. So I'm going to teach that class. Michael Topo.
If you're taking every listing you go on, you're not going on enough appointments.
Yes. Thank you.
Amen.
Most of my listings are strangers, right? Like calling circle prospecting, right? And a lot of times it's, if I'm taking 10 listing appointments, I'm probably getting 2 or 3, right? And then the other ones, I'm just trying to build a foundation to continue to follow up from, right? But you're right, you have to hone those skills. You've got to master those conversations. It's a competition And I'd like to go there just to see if I can find the right motivation also. So some would say they're not true listing appointments, but always get in the door, right, John?
Oh, I'm never turning down an appointment. Never. Don't judge away opportunity. Right? Yeah, I know there's trainers who tell you qualify before you go. That's cool. I'm not saying they're wrong. That's just not my strategy. Alan.
Questions are important. Always make a list of questions every day. So the more questions you have, the better the conversation's gonna be.
There you go.
It'll flow better.
I love it. When I run out of run out of questions, the conversation is over. T-shirt. Diane.
I want to piggyback on to what Michael Toko said, because I personally, I feel like that's a huge aha. When it's somebody you know, the listing appointment will go a lot easier. But I've only been on a couple of I don't know, like complete stranger appointments. I did not get the listing, and so that's part of the reason why I'm more focused on working on my conversion, because I know it's not me that's the issue, or like me as the person. It's how do I stand out more than the other agents that are going for these appointments.
Yeah, and just where are you on a skill-based conversation when it comes to having a listing conversation with someone at a high level? It's just like me when I said, if I go to the plate at the Florida Marlins and say, hey, John, come take batting practice, no thanks. My skill level is a 0. Well, there's a skill level when you go on a listing appointment as well, and your skill level isn't where it needs to be yet. It will be. In order for you to be able to go on appointments when you're competing for a listing with someone you don't know and to win the competition, it will get there. And some of you may say, but it's really hard. Of course it is. And let me change the way you think for a moment. Don't say things are hard anymore. Say it's not easy yet. Because it's not hard. It's just not easy yet. Everything is hard until it becomes easy. It will become easy, I promise you. It's just not easy. Lead generation is hard until it's not. No hands. I guess we're done. Okay. I hope you guys got value today. I hope that you got something that you can use in order to grow your real estate business. Thank you so much, Tara. Thank you for everything that you contribute. So valuable. Guys, make sure you read Tara's comments in the chat. I couldn't agree more. Actions lead to results, which leads back to thoughts. Yeah, you know, it's Point Far. I don't know if they still have that in bold or not, but I loved Point Far when they did. Programming, it's up here, somewhere above my head, right? Leads to thoughts. Thoughts lead to feelings. Feelings lead to actions. Actions lead to results, which lead back to programming. Now, sometimes you've got bad programming and you need to rewrite the program. The good news is you can. Pay attention to your thoughts. How do you know if you have bad programming? Well, they show up in your thoughts and your feelings. And sometimes you're not even aware of the thoughts you're having. You have to pay attention to your feelings. If you're having a day where you just don't feel like you're in a groove, you're down, maybe a little bit depressed, maybe a little bit discouraged, check your thoughts. I promise you the answer is there. Change your thoughts. Change the way you look at things, things you look at change. Perspective is powerful. Perspective is the only thing that can dramatically change the outcome of an event without changing any of the facts. You and I can be going through the same adversity. And where one person sees problems and problems and problems and problems, the other person is digging through the you know what, because under there somewhere there's got to be a pony. Now, some of you are going, where is that? If you've never heard that story, then no one? Okay, never mind. Another day. All right, let's get to work. What is work? Work is 20 conversations, not 19, not 18, not 17, or it's 10, or it's 5, whatever your goal is. But if it's 10, it's not 9, it's not 8. Because if you settle for 8 conversations and you didn't have the 9th conversation, you could have missed the $1 million listing that you didn't get simply because you didn't have the conversation. Make care calls, not sales calls. Have care call conversations, not sale call conversations. Always lead with gratitude. Thank you for taking my call. Bring value to every conversation. Look for an opportunity with every conversation to get an appointment, to get a referral, to add somebody to your database and build a relationship. Find somebody today that is thinking of selling their home, whether it's 30 days from now, 6 months from now, or a year from now, doesn't matter, because you're looking for opportunity, period, not just opportunity right now. Meet with somebody today that is thinking of selling their home and then follow up forever, because you reject rejection. Because no is not a word that lives in your vocabulary. No simply means not yet. Remember, people will never change their mind, but they will make a new decision based on new information. And when you follow up forever, you're creating emotional proximity, which simply means that I'm going to hire the person who's closest to me when I get serious about selling my home. And Alan, coming to you, when you follow up forever and you're creating emotional proximity, and I make a new decision based on new information, that new decision will be to
Hire me.
There you go. All right, great job.